This was supposed to be a quick drive to see her son. Instead, it turned into the traffic stop that unraveled an entire department. It was one of those calm, cloudless afternoons on a stretch of rural highway outside of Charleston. The air shimmered in the heat, the road almost empty. Dr. Maya Ellis, a 43-year-old civil rights attorney, kept her silver Honda Accord steady at 64 in a 65 zone. She was meticulous that way. She always said her car speed should be as disciplined as her arguments in court. Precise, careful, beyond reproach. On the passenger seat sat a white cardboard box, taped neatly, the words "Happy Birthday" written in her son's handwriting. Inside was a homemade sweet potato pie, still warm. She had promised to bring it to him, his favorite, before they went out for dinner that night. It was supposed to be a simple drive, a mother showing up for her son's special day. Then it happened. Flashing red and blue lights filled her rearview mirror. Her chest tightened. She frowned, quickly checked the speedometer. 64. Cruise control. She hadn't changed lanes, hadn't touched her phone. She signaled and eased toward the shoulder, gravel crunching beneath her tires. Her father's voice echoed in her head. "Survive the stop, Maya. Always survive the stop. You fight later if you can." She came to a full stop, put the car in park, and rested her trembling hands on the wheel. Two troopers exited the patrol car. One, broad and heavy-set, slammed her trunk as he passed, making her whole car shake. The other, tall and wiry, tapped her window hard with his flashlight. "License! Step out!" he barked. It wasn't a request. Maya cracked the window slightly. "Officer, may I ask what the reason—" "Step out of the car. Now." His tone had the weight of a threat. Her pulse thudded in her ears. Slowly, she placed the pie on the passenger seat, unbuckled, and stepped out with both hands visible. The heavy-set trooper grabbed her purse off the seat, yanked it open, and dumped the contents into the gravel. Lipstick rolled one way, pens another. He crouched down, sifting through it like it was evidence. The other trooper walked around the car, yanking doors open, rummaging in the back seat. No warrant, no explanation, just power on display. Cars slowed as they passed. Drivers craned their necks. No one stopped. But Maya was not helpless. On her left wrist was a smartwatch. She pressed the side button twice, and a small vibration confirmed what she needed. It was recording. Not only that, it was streaming. She had set it up months ago, after her client's warnings. Today, it became her shield. "Where you headed?" the wiry trooper demanded. "To my son's birthday," Maya said, her voice steady though her stomach clenched. "Just an hour away." He smirked. "Not anymore." The heavy-set one pulled out from under the seat a small plastic bag. Too clean, too convenient. He held it up between two fingers. "Funny what we find when we look hard enough," he said. Maya's jaw tightened. "That's not mine." "Funny," he sneered. "That's what they all say." She could feel her hands shake, but her voice was iron. "Officer, I do not consent to this unlawful search." The wiry trooper's face hardened. "Write her up." Resisting. Just then, a car slowed in the right lane. A young woman leaned out the window, her phone aimed squarely at the scene. Another car followed, then another. The trooper shouted, "Keep moving!" But traffic slowed further. Phones everywhere, dozens of lenses capturing every move. Maya's watch vibrated again. The live stream had gone public. Thousands were watching in real time. The heavy-set trooper grabbed her arm roughly. "Lady, you're done." "Nobody's gonna believe you." Maya locked eyes with him, her voice low, controlled. "Actually, they will. Because you just tried to plant evidence on the president of the Civil Rights Bar Association. and every second of this stop is streaming live to 50,000 people. The trooper's grip faltered. The wiry one froze, then muttered under his breath, "Sarge, we're screwed." Within minutes, a black SUV with tinted windows rolled up. It wasn't marked. From the driver's side emerged a man in a dark suit, badge clipped to his belt. His demeanor radiated authority. "Detective Grayson, Internal Affairs," he announced coolly. The troopers visibly relaxed. Relief flooded their faces. The cavalry had arrived. Grayson's smile was thin, practiced. "Ma'am, let's resolve this quietly. No need to ruin careers over misunderstandings." Maya tilted her head. "Misunderstanding? Your men fabricated a crime on camera, and now you're trying to silence me?" Grayson leaned in, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "Be careful, counselor. You push this, we dig into every ruling you've ever made, every client you've defended, every dollar in your accounts. Careers get destroyed. Families ruined. You don't want that smoke." She didn't blink. "Detective, threats against a federal attorney are felonies, and thanks to this live stream, you just made one in front of the world." His smile cracked for the first time. Grayson's eyes flicked to the line of cars still crawling by, phones out, recording every angle. Too many eyes. Too late to contain. That night, the video hit 1 million views. Headlines spread like wildfire. Attorney exposes cops planting drugs during routine stop. Live stream goes viral. Community leaders weighed in. Pastors, activists. They called it proof of what they had been shouting for years. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't exaggeration. It was real. And now the whole country could see. Soon, more stories surfaced online. A nurse posted, "They took $400 from me last summer. Said it was suspicious. I never got it back." Another driver wrote, "Same trooper, same stretch of highway, same lie. I thought I was crazy. Now I know I wasn't." The pattern was undeniable. This wasn't just one bad stop. It was a system. 3 days later, Maya found herself in a packed federal courtroom. Every seat filled. Reporters lining the back wall, cameras rolling. She walked to the witness stand, the eyes of the nation on her. She spoke clearly, calmly. She played the live stream for the court. The hood slam, the planted bag, the detective's quiet threat. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Then came the whistleblower file, a stack of documents, pages stamped confidential. It revealed performance benchmarks that rewarded officers for asset seizures. Cash, cars, property, all fair game. The more they took, the higher they scored. Millions were unaccounted for. Money seized from ordinary drivers had vanished into shadowy budgets and vague line items. The judge's gavel struck hard. This court orders an immediate suspension of the implicated officers and a federal review of civil forfeiture practices statewide. The courtroom erupted in applause. The troopers sat pale, silent, their careers collapsing around them. Detective Grayson was led out in cuffs, his smirk finally gone. That night, Maya sat at her son's birthday table. The pie was finally cut, candles glowing. Her son looked at her, wide-eyed. "Mom, were you scared?" She took his hand. "Yes, but courage isn't the absence of fear. It's standing tall when others want you silent." He nodded, as if memorizing her words. She blew out the candles, but her wish wasn't for herself. It was for him. For every child like him. That someday no family would have to fear flashing lights in the mirror because of the color of their skin. The fallout spread fast. Investigations unearthed years of misconduct. Dozens of drivers came forward, their stories nearly identical, pulled over without cause, searched, intimidated, robbed under the guise of law. Whistleblowers revealed internal chat groups where officers coordinated high-value targets, even joking about splitting cash. Federal prosecutors launched a sweeping probe. Several officers resigned overnight. Others lawyered up. Grayson, once untouchable, now faced charges of obstruction, intimidation, and conspiracy. But it didn't stop there. Civil suits stacked up. Families demanded their money back. A class action lawsuit formed. Lawyers, many of them Maya's colleagues, offered to represent victims pro bono. The numbers told the story plain. Thousands of stops, disproportionately Black and Latino drivers, contraband almost never found, yet millions seized. It was not policing, it was profit. 6 months later, reforms rolled out. Mandatory body cameras with independent review, a public database of dash cam footage, civilian oversight boards with power to investigate complaints, federal monitors embedded in the department. The missing millions? Federal auditors traced the money. Slowly, checks went out. Victims received refunds for stolen cash, sometimes years late, but justice, at last, had weight. One quiet evening, Maya's phone buzzed. A text from her son. "Got pulled over today." It was normal. The officer was polite. No search, no threats, just a reminder about my speed. That's how it should be. She smiled softly. For the first time in years, her hands didn't tremble, reading a message about police lights. She knew the fight wasn't over. Change was fragile. Progress had to be guarded like a flame against the wind. But one truth had burned its way into the nation's eyes. Silence protects corruption. Voices tear it down. And because one woman refused to bow her head on the side of a highway, an entire system was forced to answer. This wasn't just one stop. It was the crack that exposed an entire machine. And justice didn't knock. It stormed through the door. If you believe stories like this must be told, share them. Because the system fears your camera more than you fear their badge. Together, our voices can end it.